I'm a big fan of this Urban Decay Stay Naked Hydromaniac Tinted Glow Hydrator, but I have a dupe. It's this from Milani. It's their Glow Hydrating Skin Tint, and I'm telling you, they're basically the same. So they tout ingredients in here like argan oil and kombucha filtrate, which are really great for your skin. But in this one from Milani, they have one of my favorite skincare oils, and that is squalane. And they also have coconut water in here, which is completely different from coconut oil. And what it does is it actually helps to hydrate our skin further. As far as the textures go, I think they're actually very similar. This is the Urban Decay. This is the Milani. I got the Milani shade just a touch too dark for me. The Urban Decay is pretty close to perfect. As far as price difference goes, this is $29 and this is about $12. So I'm just gonna put a little bit on my cheek so you can see how sheer it really looks and also just how glowy it is. Let's take a look at the Milani. I'm gonna use just a little bit on this side. Of really quick notes. If you really like the way foundation feels on your skin, but you feel like you have drier skin, you might still end up liking this one from Urban Decay more because it does give just a touch more coverage than the Milani one does. But if you're really just going for that glowy, sheer look to your skin, then there really isn't a huge difference. I'm gonna go ahead and put the Milani all over my skin. So here's my full face with the Milani on my skin, and you can see it's really natural looking, it's very sheer, and it gives you a really beautiful glow. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put all my makeup on. So this is the final look with a little bit of makeup on. You can see I have, you know, some like bronzer, blush, a little bit of eyeshadow, some mascara, some eyeliner, my brows, some lip gloss. You think they're the same? Is it a dupe? So look what I've got. This is Ilya's True Skin Serum Foundation, which is apparently a reformulation. It also has skincare ingredients like niacinamide, allantoin, and aloe. I know you might be wondering, why would a foundation need these kind of skincare ingredients? The way I like to think of it is, one, it can be a little bit more hydrating and soothing for your skin, and two, these ingredients specifically can really help with that visible redness in your skin. All right, so I'm just gonna swipe it across my cheek really quick. You don't need to do that when you're putting on your makeup. But I also want to point something out. You can see this is very obviously a little bit more yellow tone than my actual skin tone. People constantly say, that looks a little too yellow for your skin. What I'm trying to do is balance out that visible redness in my skin. So you can see I kind of have some pink kind of undertones to my skin that can really come out if I don't use the right shade. So of course I'm gonna look for a foundation that neutralizes that redness in my skin. I don't wanna look like I'm pink in the face all the time. Serum is in the name of this product, and it really does have that light serum kind of texture to it. So that's just one really light layer, and you can see, one, like I said, it balances out that redness in my skin, but two, you can really see my skin still, and it just looks healthy and glowy. It's a very nice foundation. But if you want more coverage, you can definitely layer. I do recommend stippling the foundation on then. All right, right, let's go ahead and put it on the other side. Something I will also say about these types of foundations, since they're more serum-like and more skin-like as well as far as the finish goes, it means that you also have more time to play with it and blend it and decide if you want to add more layers to it, because it's just meant to be just more user-friendly in a lot of ways. When you're using more of a full coverage foundation or like a matte foundation, those tend to dry down quickly. Let's put a little bit here. So final thoughts, I think it's really pretty. The finish is kind of in between the new NARS light reflecting foundation and the Charlotte Tilbury foundation that's also supposed to be more skin-like. This one feels like it's right in between those two textures. And something else I noticed is that it's not accentuating my pores. It's actually finishing really nicely, even though it's still really dewy. So that might be something that interests a lot of people, because I have heard from other people that some of the newer skin-like foundations are settling into the pores. This one's not. So I'm curious to see how it's going to wear throughout the day. But first impressions, I like it. This is Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, and it is so popular on social media, but I actually think that the average person doesn't know what the hell to do with this. I admit, I was one of those people. It is not a luminizer, but it's also not a foundation. It's a hybrid, and it's a little bit different from both of those types of products, so I'm going to show you how to use it. The way that I think it's easiest to use this is before you put any foundation on. I have like a little bit of concealer in my brows on, so probably stands out a little bit. When you apply it before you actually put on your foundation, it just gives you a little bit more flexibility. So actually I'm going to start with like this area. So like the center, and I'm actually exaggerating a little bit of how I use it just so you can see how easy it is. So it gives a little bit of coverage that makes it different from your typical highlighter, but it also is very luminous. So I'm going to even just kind of get my entire cheek area. I would maybe even use more than that, but you can see. Just very luminous. Maybe a little bit here, a little bit here. So it's like almost all over my face, but not completely. Just where I really want to have that glowy look. I'm gonna put foundation over this. So again, you can see there's a little bit of coverage, but on its own, I would be like a disco ball, right? So I wouldn't want to wear it like that either. And I'm just kind of keeping this part more towards the center of my forehead. I really like, as I kind of move around in the light, you can see that glow that it gave me. I don't want it to look like this on its own, so I'm gonna put my foundation over it now. Now you can see it gives a little bit of coverage, right? So it makes it different from your typical luminizer that doesn't give any kind of coverage. It means that you're gonna go in with your foundation and you won't have to use as much. So I'm gonna go in with this from Armani. It's Luminous Silk, it's my favorite. I'm just gonna put a little bit. I don't need a lot. This might even be too much foundation now because I have this on already. So you're just gonna go into those areas where you want a little bit more coverage. You could go in with like a more lightweight kind of concealer as well if this is enough coverage for you, but I probably need just a little bit more. So I'm gonna use my foundation. So just like around my eyes, for instance, around my nose. That's where I really need it, like the sides of my nose, under my eyes, down here where I didn't put any of it. I'm not covering up this glow though. And if there's a little bit of layering, that's totally fine too. You just don't want to completely dull that nice filtered look. Now you can see that redness that was in my skin, you know, now it's like calmed down. I've got it fully covered, but I still look like I have this beautiful glow happening, and it's all in places that I want to have the glow. I think that's really the key here. You could add it to your foundation, but then you're gonna get a glow all over the place. And if you have any texture, like for me, like around my fine lines and my crow's feet, or if you have like large pores, you wanna be able to control where you're gonna get that glow, right? You don't wanna just put glow all over all of the texture.
Then after moisturizing, take some translucent powder. I usually use the Fit Me one, and I just lightly dab it all over my face.
Or you could just use a really matte foundation. I see a lot of these hacks here on social media, and don't get me wrong, she looked gorgeous and flawless after she did her little technique, but she used several different products. So to me, that is not a hack. After her moisturizer, she put on a translucent powder, then she goes on to put on a setting spray and then her primer. And she's really just trying to achieve a matte effect on her skin. Formulation matters when it comes to your makeup too. So this NARS Soft Matte is a matte foundation, whereas this one from Liss is actually more of a glowy foundation. So I'm gonna show you the difference. So I'm gonna start with the NARS first on this side. All right, so I'm just going to put it on this side. See, it looks glowy when you first put it on, but that's because it's a liquid. So I'll spread it out and then I'm going to buff it with a brush. So I'm going to buff that out. I actually put a little too much, but I guess it'll really give the effect. And you can see, even as I'm buffing this out a little bit, it's already drying down pretty matte, really fast too. This is what it looks like. I'm gonna let it dry down more while I apply this one from Liss because it is definitely a lot more glowy. So same thing, a little swipe, very similar colors. Also put too much, but I guess it'll really show the effect. Buffing this one using the other side of the brush so we're not contaminating. But look at that. You can see that one was drying down so quickly while I was buffing, while this one actually stays very nice and dewy. Okay, so I let the foundation dry down a little bit. I look a little funny, but you can see it's such a big difference. So it really comes down to the formulation of your foundation. This one is really matte. It looks super flawless, especially if you have oily skin. And this one is super dewy. Look at that difference. The light really shows. Dewy, matte. That's all you have to do. This is Shiseido Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Tint, and I love wearing it on days where I want my skin to look really natural but have some light coverage. I'm going to apply it on this side to just show you the texture of it and the finish because it looks so beautiful. It's not too dewy and it's not too matte. It's just right. And then afterwards, I'm going to put a medium coverage foundation on this side so you can see the differences. Okay, so going in with the Shiseido first so you can see the texture and how it looks on my skin. Something I love about this is that it has 70% skincare ingredients that are very hydrating for your skin. So this is actually going to nourish your skin, but it's not going to look super dewy. This is actually waterproof and it lasts for hours throughout the day. So you can see how it goes on. It feels like a light serum on my skin, and that's what I really love about it. So look at that finish. I have it all on this side, and like I said, it's more of a natural light coverage and a skin finish. So it's not going to be super shiny and dewy, but it's not going to be matte either. It just looks like a natural skin finish. So that's what it looks like on this side. Now I'm going to go in with a medium coverage foundation that has a little bit more of a natural radiant finish to it. So it's a really good comparison because the big difference is going to be the coverage. This is a medium buildable coverage and it's going to immediately cover a lot more of my skin. So I'm going to put this on and you can see what it looks like. It feels a little bit thicker, but still serum-like as well. And see, look at that. Just that little bit that I put onto my face already really masks my skin. All right, so I didn't even need to put a lot for you to see that there is a big difference in the coverage. So again, medium coverage foundation and then a light skin tint. So you're probably wondering, why would you choose one over the other? Like I said, this is more of a typical medium coverage foundation. This is something that I wear when I'm going to do meetings and I'm going to be in person with somebody. When I'm going to be on camera, this is more of the type of finish I'm going to opt for. But on days where I'm just going to be running errands, I might, like have a quick coffee with a friend or something. I might be like picking up my kids from school, anything like that. Then I'm going to opt for more of this finish where it looks like I'm not wearing any makeup. Instead, it just kind of looks like I have really great skin and nobody might even notice. I really love the Shiseido Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Tint. As you can see, it just looks so beautiful and so natural. This is what I think tinted moisturizer should really be like these days. It lasts all day. I don't have to keep touching it up. It looks like it's really natural. It makes my skin feel really nice as well. So it's really that gray in between when you don't want to look like you're wearing makeup, but you want just like, a little bit of makeup.
This is for my makeup experts. Why the heck does my foundation sit on my skin like this?
So I know that she asked for all the makeup experts, but I actually think this is a job for a skincare expert. I see this problem all the time when it comes to foundation and concealer. It's really just a lack of hydration and moisture, and maybe a little bit of exfoliation. First, you're going to exfoliate your skin to get those dry, dead skin cells off of your skin. This is from my brand. This is NATURIUM. This is a glycolic acid toner. This is really gentle on the skin because it's also hydrating for the skin, and that's why I like something like this. You just put it onto a cotton pad, and then you just kind of dab it onto your skin. You can swipe a little bit if you need to. If you're new to exfoliants like this, I say ease into it. Maybe do it just like once or twice a week. Next, this step is very important for you. You want to hydrate your skin. That's what's going to give you that bounciness and that firm, plump look to your skin. Hydrating serums are the ones that you see all the time that say things like hyaluronic acid, plumping, firming, humectant. Those are all the key words that you want to look for. This one is from Vichy. This is their Mineral 89 Prebiotic Concentrate. I like this one because it is hydrating and it's also really soothing for the skin, which is great after you've used an exfoliant. You can see, look at that. I mean, you immediately get that nice hydrating glow. Next step, and this step is also very important in this. This is where people mess up. If you're using a hydrating serum like this, especially if you're using one that has hyaluronic acid in it, then you need to make sure you lock in that hydration with moisture. So you go in with a moisturizer like this one from my brand. Again, this is our Multi-Peptide moisturizer, and it can also PS be a moisturizer that has sunscreen in it, so you're knocking out that step. This is how you're gonna make sure that your skin stays hydrated and plump and firm, and the skin tone and texture is even. Last, and this is a really important tip, is to find the right foundation. Most foundations, especially if they are long wear foundations, if they are mattifying foundations, if they are foundations that are oil free, a lot of foundations are made with powders in them that help them dry down and last longer on your skin, and also not look so greasy for people that hate that look. But that also means that they're going to dry down to kind of a powdery finish. And if your skin is super dry, then it's going to really accentuate that dryness on your skin. So you're not working with the right type of foundation for your skin type. You need to look for foundations that have words like glowing, glow, radiant, illuminating, hydrating, moisturizing. These types of foundations look more natural. They're probably more like medium coverage than they are full coverage. So they have their pros and cons too, but they also make your skin look a little bit more glowy. And for all those people that are wondering, for the hydrating foundations, do you powder them down then? Yeah, of course. I just powder down in key areas where I get a little bit more oily. And I just leave the rest to be glowy and dewy.